was just a kind of a political science bureaucrat. He had no clue, because when I started quizzing him about a couple of things, I just became concerned. It's him and the other guy under him. They didn't really understand anything about construction, and it bothered me. So anyway, we filed an amendment, passed on one of the appropriation acts that said, follow the law. That's all we're asking, just follow the law. Hire the person that's qualified to run the job. So they finally did that, and things are a little better. We might get it done. The lady that's there at least has got a mind that understands what a 2x4 is. So that's good. So I met her out there here this week. Last Friday. That's what it was. Last Friday. So I met her out there. I wanted to go over. So we went through, looked at it, kind of checked what was going on, and then I showed her one of these change orders, because she was kind of defending the VA. I go, let me show you something. One little change order here that a contractor put in. He did it in November of 2011. On the plans, it had this was just to hold up some gas cylinders, tall gas cylinders, and had a chain and some metal. That's all it was. So they write the VA and they say, we can't do it this way, because the wall is not a concrete block wall, it's a stud wall. Well, they sent back and said, do it the way it says. So then they write back. This is, okay, so we're just going through time here, understand. They write back, we can't do it that way, you have to have support and beams, here's an idea. So they look at the idea, and they decide, well, maybe that's a good idea, maybe it really is, and sure enough it wasn't a concrete block wall. So they come up with a steel structure, and they're doing all this stuff. And they specify some angle that's quarter inch thick, 2 inches by 2 inches. So it's a piece of angle. Not made in the entire world. No one makes that. So they write them back. It's not available. This is what, so we pick this. So then finally, in July of this year, so from 2011 to this year, they finally said, what you've done is exactly right, and so you can use the material you said and go ahead and it's approved. And we're going to pay you a certain amount, which wasn't even enough money to cover the steel that had put in. And so I showed them, I said, look at this, there's no way that this could be done this way, and what in the world did you spend 2 years doing? And they were embarrassed. They should have been. Because I only picked out one. He's had to do like 600. The contractor's done 5,700 of these things where the drawing was wrong and everything. Anyway, so the VA, I am on it. I want to get it done. But I also want these people treated fairly. They're our friends and constituents in this district. So that's the VA. And we're harming not just the people out there and the people working, we're harming the veterans who need the service. So there's that. I think that's all I got to say. I will say this one little thing, which I've said before, and it's just a funny story, and it's a corollary to trying to get my own house in order. When I first got elected, the first thing out of the mouth of the person doing the orientation was, this is how much money you'll make. This is your salary. Okay, so I caught her afterwards. I heard that if we rolled back to 2008, then we could balance the budget. So I asked, what was the salary in 2008? She gave me a number. I said, that's what I want to be paid. You can't be paid that. Why not? Well, there's a constitutional provision that says every member has to be paid the same amount of money. All right, I'll give it back at the end of the year. So I waited the end of the year, and I wrote a check out to the Department of Treasury to pay down the debt, and called them up. And they first kind of balked at me coming over there, but then they finally said, you can bring it, but you have to take it to the Bureau of Public Debt. Okay, that's not the nice building across from the White House, but it's another building down. And I know you, if you know, you know, but if you don't, you probably couldn't guess where in the city, what part of the city that the Bureau of Public Debt is. It's in Chinatown. Think about it. They did. Now just here in December they moved because I think maybe other people criticized or not. But anyway, so I took the check over there. I gave it to them. They were a little hesitant, but they took it and we took a picture. And then the lady, when I'm leaving, there are only 11 people in that bureau. And when I'm leaving, she goes, "Don't tell anybody." I said, "Why not?" "Well, we aren't set up to have a bunch of members of Congress bringing money over here to give us." I said, "Well, I'm going to tell them that you are not going to have that problem. They're not going to." So I did. I did tell a lot of people. I almost had one other guy talk into doing it, but he did do it eventually. He said, "I should do that," but he did. So I couldn't get anybody else to do it. But Warren Buffett, 3 weeks later, was on TV saying, "Anybody that turns back money that's a congressman from their own salary, I'll match it." Great. So I sent him a letter. And he responded. He got me. I sent him my check, and he did. Sent him a check, so I doubled my money. That was good. And then I did it the next year. They've moved from Chinatown. They're in a new place. Now they know nobody's coming, and so they gladly received me. And now I know all the people there. We take pictures, and they were all happy. And I even got a thank you note from them. So that's just kind of the corollary of saying it doesn't. We don't have to spend it all. We don't have to use it all, and every one of us can get by a little bit less than we are. And that's the picture. Look, I'm just a regular person. I drive a 1997 F-150 pickup truck. That's it. I don't take health insurance, eye insurance, dental insurance. I'm not looking for benefits. I just went there to try to do as best job as I possibly could. And so I have this card, this voting card, and I want to use it right. It has my picture on it, has my signature on it. I realize it's borrowed for another year and a half. It's not going to be any good on January 13th. January 3rd of 2015. It'll be run out. It'll have to be, if I earn another one, then great. If not, I'll stay home with my 8 grandkids. But for while I have it, here's my commitment. I'm going to use this to the best of my ability to benefit the citizens of this district. I am. And I'm going to give it all I got. I don't go to dinners or receptions or parties or anything like that. I go home and read. There's a lot to read. And so I just go home and read. And then when I go in the morning, I give every consideration I can to every piece of legislation that's coming forward. And I do it to the best of my ability. Just know this. And the reason I'm telling you this is to know the principle I have. And that is, if I'm 51% for something, I'm going to vote for it. If I'm 49% for it, I'm going to vote against it. There are no perfect bills, except the Mother's Day resolution. That's about it. There are no perfect bills. And so I get elected by a little, one more vote than 50%. And so that's the way I'm going to govern. It's the same way. So if I'm for it, more for it than I'm against it, I'm going to vote for it. And do my best to make it as good as I can. So that could be 100% for it if I can. I'm going to offer amendments and try to change it and do everything I can to make it as good as I possibly can. And then I'm going to cast that vote knowing that we've been together. And we've talked, and I've heard what you have to say. And other groups have been all up and down 27 and the other communities in Orange County, down in Polk County, talking, just listening, trying to hear what everybody has to say. And just know, like I said, I'm going to try to use it the best I can to do the best policy I can for these citizens as long as I have this card. And so that's it. Thank you for letting me come today and for listening and for sharing with me. And that I could listen and be able to hear what you have to say, because all these things are important. They're important to me. I want to hear what you have to say. Because we have some real problems in this country. And we have a lot of roadblocks for things I would love to do. It's difficult to do. But it's not going to stop us from continuing to do what we can do. And if we do what we can do, it's somebody else's problem if they don't let us fulfill all of the things we'd like to do. It won't be ours. It's not going to be for a lack of action by the United States House of Representatives. So thank you for letting me come here.
for spending your time with us.
Can we take a picture real quick with everybody, just see that
Sure.
I could have the congressman, see, maybe you can just stay right there.
You see all their faces?
I can, good, thank you. Do you want to take a picture with that camera, Whisper?
When do we smile?
Okay, on three, on three.
All right.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. That's great.
Okay, ready? One more. 2 and